She's been called the most prolific female killer in history, a Hungarian countess who supposedly murdered over 600 young girls just so she could bathe in their blood and stay young forever. But what if it was all a lie? This is the horrifying and possibly fabricated story of Elizabeth Bathory. The year is 1604. Elizabeth Bathory is one of the most powerful women in Eastern Europe, a noble woman with vast land, an educated mind, and direct ties to royalty. But just a few years later, her name would be whispered across the continent, not in admiration, but in absolute horror. Because, according to legend, Bathory lured hundreds of peasant girls to her castle, where she tortured and killed them in grotesque rituals, cutting them, burning them, and yes, allegedly bathing in their blood. The stories say it started small, a slap that drew blood, a fascination with cruelty. But soon, the whispers grew louder, that young girls sent to her castle as servants never returned, that screams echoed through the stone halls. Alerted to witness accounts, Bathory and her servants would strip girls naked and freeze them in the snow, burn their genitals with heated irons, cut pieces of their flesh while they were still alive, and then the most famous claim that after accidentally getting a girl's blood on her hand, Bathory noticed her skin looked smoother, and so she began bathing in blood to preserve her youth. But here's the twist. We don't actually have any physical evidence that Bathory killed a single person. The most damning claims came from interrogations under torture, not exactly reliable testimony. And while dozens of people testified against her, most of them were peasants or enemies of her family. Modern historians like McNally and Kimberly Craft argue that Bathory may have been the victim of a political takedown. Why? She was a wealthy, powerful widow. She owed no man loyalty, and the Habsburgs, the ruling dynasty, wanted her land and influence. Her arrest was suspiciously convenient, and her trial never happened. She was never tried in court, instead quietly walled up in her castle where she died 4 years later. So what's the truth? Was Elizabeth Bathory a sadistic monster who killed for beauty, or a powerful woman silenced by patriarchy? Her story warped into legend. The truth likely lives somewhere in between. History is a tool, but also a weapon, and in the wrong hands, even a noble woman can become a blood-soaked monster in the public imagination. If you want more forgotten horrors, dark legends, and the truth behind the myth, subscribe and follow, because in history, the scariest things are sometimes the most believable. By David Durkin, written and directed by Willick Murphy. Free on Prime. Cameos, or new supplementary edition of